Hi, my name's Mandy and welcome to my YouTube channel, What Mandy Made Next. Today I'm excited to share with you plenty of makes, works in progress and a little bit of haul. So if you don't know me, you can catch up with me on Instagram. My handle on there is What Mandy Made Next, and on Ravelry it is Pickety Stitch. So let's start with what I get up to on a Monday, which is when I make a miniature project. So when I was on holiday in Florida last year, I went to a quilt shop and saw these beautiful designs. This is by Crabapple Hill and it's called Breath of Spring. So you get 3 patterns and I think this cost me $10. Now I was lucky to go to this quilt shop and it was called Country Bears and Quilts. I think it's just north of Clearwater if I remember rightly, but I do know it's on Drew Street. And if you do get the opportunity to go to Florida, please visit this quilt shop because it's fantastic. Now when I went in there was a quilt hanging up and this lady had made the quilt using wax crayons to shade in some of the stitching. Okay, so this is what this is. These are using wax crayons. I'll show you a quick picture of this quilt. It was fantastic. So this is a picture of the quilt that was on display in the quilt shop. It's called Beautiful Mystery of the Salem Witches Guild by Crabapple Hill. So I did meet the lady who had coloured in this quilt with wax crayons. She's also hand embroidered and pieced those blocks together. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So I've managed to make 2. So this was my first attempt and I've made it into a pillow. So I've embellished it with some lace and some buttons as suggested on the pattern. Now they've fashioned this one into a frame, but I've copied this idea. I didn't do the patchwork underneath because the pillow was quite big. This is the back. So for many of you, you're probably familiar with Vonna Pfeiffer? And she finishes pillows by putting a slit in the back, stuffing the pillow, and then putting a little patch on, which I've done. And I've just popped a little button on for an embellishment. This is just some scrap fabric I had, but yeah, I love this. Now in the actual, let me just get the pattern again. In the actual pattern, if I bring it up close, you can see here, these are like a circle of felt and they do a lazy daisy design. No matter how hard I tried, it just didn't look neat enough. So I've actually improvised here and I've embroidered the flowers on. So yeah, I love this. Look at these pansies, absolutely beautiful. So that's my first one, and then I did the second one here. Got these little French knots. I didn't stitch around the edges with any embroidery designs. I just wanted this pillow to be a little bit smaller, and I finished it with a little pink pom-pom trim. And behind, again, I finished it off. I blanket stitched round a little patch of fabric I had and stitched a button on. It's a good way of getting rid of those, you know, those odd buttons you get in your collection. So I did think it would be a great idea if I just showed you a little clip of how I put these pillows together. Get 3 pattern pieces and I'm using pattern piece 2. I'm going to use a uni pin 0.5 fine line marker in the grey colourway. So as you can see, I'm using my light box. So I put the pattern piece down first and then my fabric over that, and I start to trace. So I've now finished tracing the pattern onto the fabric, and now I need to stabilise it ready for colouring, and I've used Reynolds freezer paper. I'm going to use Crayola crayons to colour in. This is a 64 pack I got from Amazon. They're quite inexpensive. And if you look on the back of the pack, there's a little hole. I wonder what this was for, but it's actually for sharpening the crayons. The pattern guides you to which colour crayon you should use for your tinting. And I didn't know this about Crayola, but they've got some really cool colours. So this is, I think it's called Purple Majesty. So I'm going to start now colouring in. I'm using the white crayon first. I'm going to colour in the picture. Apparently, once you've coloured it in white, any other colours you add, the white helps the colours to blend, you see. So when colouring in, you don't need to press too hard. Saying that, I've already broken one of the crayons, but it doesn't matter. I can still use them. So I'm now going to use the colour Tumbleweed, and this is just to outline the picture. So I'm pressing on a little bit harder on the outlines and then blending a little bit just inside the line. I'm going to use the colour Periwinkle for the base of the vase or the picture. This is what's suggested in the pattern. I'm now going to colour in the roses. Now, if you've only got a small pack of crayons, it doesn't matter. You can just substitute colours like for like. So when I'm going over the outlines, I just press a little bit harder so I get that darker colour. And then inside the rose, I'll just blend by lightly shading. And there we go. That's the colouring finished. So I now need to use my iron to set the colour. So the first thing I do is I put a piece of paper towel on my ironing pad. Then I place the fabric with the pretty side up, okay, and then another piece of paper towel over the top, and I press with a hot iron. So as you can see, the wax crayon will come off onto the paper towel, and I keep on repeating the process until no more wax crayon comes off. and that should set the colour. So on a Tuesday, I specifically donate that day to cross stitch, and I've got 3 projects I'm working on at the moment. The first one is my year at Hawkshaw Hollow. So this is a pattern by Carriage House Samplings. I will show you a before and after photograph. So like I say, this is where I've got up to. So this is quite a big piece when I hold it up. Oh, look at that. As you may know, for those who follow me, it should be this way up. But yeah, somehow I twisted my hoop round and accidentally stitched it the wrong way, but I don't think it matters. I still think it looks good. I'm still working on the November. Like I say, I've shown you the before and after, and as you can see, I've now completed one of the turkeys. So this is an American pattern. So yeah, for November we've got the Thanksgiving. Yeah, I think it's coming along really good, and it's worked on an 18 count Ada, and it's in this lovely vintage country mocha. So my next pattern is the Sunflower Farm. This is a pattern by Cuore Batticuore, and I'm working this on a 28 count DMC in the light mocha colourway. So this is how far I was last time, and now this is my progress. So yeah, now I did have a little bit of a problem with this one. I don't know why. If I stand up and show you a bit closer, this is the table. For some reason I did this too long, so I had to unpick that. Then I started working on the border, and I got about this far down and I was 1 stitch out. So it threw it out, so I had to unpick all that last night. I just got to stitch this flower on and do a bit more of the stem, and I'm caught up with where I finished. But I don't know, sometimes we just have these days, don't we? But yeah, I'm enjoying stitching on this one. This was a scrap of fabric I had left over from when I stitched my Feast of Friendship. So it's great to use up those scraps of fabric. My next project is the Vintage Farmhouse. This is a pattern by Lori Pengally from, I think it's Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. I'll pop a link in down below in the description box to that particular website. However, I accessed this pattern via the Primitive Projects and Quilts magazine, which I subscribe to. I'm really, blowing out a bit, sorry. I'll stand up. I'm really happy with the progress. This is worked on a 28 Cashel linen. It was a piece I purchased from Hobbycraft, and I must admit I love stitching on this Cashel linen. Okay, it's just because it's 28 count, it's obviously If I bring it up a bit closer, you know, it's easier to see and stitch on. But yeah, I'm loving it. And as you can tell, I've worked for more than 3 hours on this. I just couldn't put it down. But this is halfway now, so I've just got the other half to stitch. So yeah. And this is using the Call for threads, which is a mixture of Weeks Dye Works and Classic Colour Works. So yeah, loving stitching on this, I really am. So on a Wednesday I love to work with wool, and my aim was to have 3 projects. However, I've only got the one to share with you, and this is crochet. So let me show you the box I made to keep my crochet granny squares in. This is all made of Tilda fabric. This one, I can't remember the range or what it was called, but it's absolutely beautiful. And you might recall that I used the same to back one of my little pillows with. So this was in the sale at Ollie's Haberdashery. I'll pop the title in of the range below, because there'll be still some of it knocking about on the internet, you know, on online shops. And I've paired it with another Tilda fabric, well, I've lined it, and this is a chambray. So I thought that really went well together, and I've edged it in some lace and sewed a little button on. And I thought this would be really cute to keep all my little squares in. So this granny square is called the Sunburst Granny Square, and the pattern is from Crochet Me Lovely. So she has a YouTube channel and she's got some fantastic tutorials on there, so go give her a watch. And these are the squares I've been making. This is for a cardigan for my eldest daughter, Cheryl. She's always wanted a crochet cardigan, so I thought, right, we'll get you one made. This is all made from scraps of wool, mainly is it Stylecraft? These are just leftover balls from blankets. So yeah, and some are really titchy ones. So yeah, I'm making this purely from scraps of wool. The black, I had 3 hanks of this, so yeah, it's a good bargain. On Thursday, I like to work on a WIPGO project. For those of you who are new here, if you go onto Facebook and look up WIPGO 2025, or on YouTube, Jessie Marie calls 2 numbers each month. It's like a bingo board. If you look at my WIPGO board, you'll see that Jessie called number 5 and 19. I've coloured them in a yellow colour, so I'm reminded of which projects to work on, and once completed I then mark them off in green. So I aim to work for at least 3 hours on the projects that are called. So every month, the second week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that is also donated to what they call a WIPGO weekend, and you can choose any project you like from your WIPGO board to work on. So I chose the Cliffside Beacon last month, so I've got quite a bit of progress on this. So let me show you a picture first. So this is a little petite mini kit from the Dimensions, and last time I spoke to you I got this far, And now, so excuse the threads, but now I've got this far. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of progress on this. So I'm loving this at the moment, I really am. So look at the little boat there. Yeah. I just wanted to get as much done as I could on this, because I don't want to carry this project through to the next WIPGO, you know, for 26. But look at this. When you're back stitching, because you do a lot of back stitching in these projects, with white I've back stitched the fence posts. When you're doing it close up, you can't really see the effect, but when you hold it back, look at that. And see how the fence is curving round there. Love it. I think they're really clever. I really do. So I'm trying to backstitch as I go along with this project, because I don't want to be stuck with a lot of backstitching. Saying that, I'm still backstitching on a previous one as well. My next project I worked on my WIPGO board was chicken Feedsack. Now I know this number wasn't called, but I worked on this a couple of weeks ago for my WIPGO weekend for May. So this is called Chicken Feedsack. It's by Carriage House Samplings. This is how far I got up to last time I spoke to you. So as you can see, over the WIPGO weekend, I did manage to get quite a bit of this project stitched. I would like to get it finished actually for summer. I'll show you on my board. There we go. So I'm working this on a 32 count Belfast linen. And I'm really pleased with the progress. I would like to get this project actually finished for summer, and make it into the sack. I think it'll look lovely. So there we go. That's my chicken Feedsack. Now the other number, what was called, I haven't started this project yet. It's called Chocolate and Coffee. That's what I've called it. So although it's called WIPGO, and basically the idea behind it is that you work on your works in progress and get them finished. There's nothing to stop you adding new projects in, and for number 19 I did. Now I'm housing it in this project bag here. This is my Christmas one, and I absolutely love this fabric. So I'll show you what I intend to work on. This is called Chocolate or Coffee, and it's one by Erica Michaels. So we've got 2 pillows there and 2 strawberries. So we'll see how we go. I've never made a strawberry before, and she's quite famous, isn't she, for her strawberry patterns. So I think before I work on these, I'm going to have a go at making one of those strawberries. So yeah, watch this space. So I think I'll start this next Thursday. I've been a little bit shy about starting this because, you know, you can get a little bit overwhelmed. But this is a 32 count Belfast linen, and it's called Opalescent or Opalescent Snow. Now it's not going to show the glittery bits, but this is quite glittery, and I thought that would look lovely. I don't know why, but I always think, you know, at Christmas I think of foods, you know, them comfort foods like gingerbread, chocolate, coffee, and I just thought this would look lovely on the dresser behind me. I've already bought a little wooden box with chocolate patisserie engraved on it. So I think I'll store them in there. But yeah, it's not showing the glitter, unfortunately. This is what I'm hoping to use. And I purchased this in a sale from Lakeside Needleworks. So that's my next project I'll be working on next Thursday. My next project I'd love to share with you is a baby quilt. Now this is just in the making at the moment. So for those of you who have followed me for a while or follow me on Instagram, you'll probably know that my youngest daughter recently gave birth to her third daughter. So this is my fourth granddaughter. And yeah, she's absolutely beautiful. And her name is Mabel. So I think it was Jen and her YouTube channel, I'll pop a link into below. Jen Bowman had shown this on her YouTube. It's called Sweetly Stitch Handmade by Amy Sinibaldi. This is the quilt I've chosen. It's a doll's quilt actually, but I thought I would put some more blocks in and make it a little bit bigger. And it says sleep, what's it say? Sweet dreams, sweet dreams, sleep tight. I love you, good night. And I thought how lovely that would be. Now on this quilt there are little doors, it's for little mousies, but I'm just going to make the plain, you know, squares. I'm just going to patchwork plain squares there. So let me show you the fabrics that I've chosen. The majority of them are from scraps, but I have purchased a couple. So let me show you. To share with you is this one, and it's this little bunny. Okay, so it's from a Tilda book, which I'll show you in a moment, but I've made this completely from scraps. So you may recall a few years ago I made my eldest granddaughter Abigail a prom dress. And what I did first of all, because we Frankensteined a couple of patterns together to make this prom dress, and I used this calico to make a toile. So I'm using the toile, I'm just unpicking it all, ironing it, and using this to make these little bunnies with, and I think they look lovely. So this is completely, like I say, from scraps. This was from my fabric stash. Now I haven't embellished this. I'll show you some of the pictures in the book which shows you how you can embellish them. And these here, I didn't use pipe cleaners. I've just used some garden wire. I had some coated garden wire, so this gives them the bend. And I just love how it's got this stitching round the edge, so it looks quite primitive. But these again were scraps. They were from some triangles of fabric I had left. So yeah, I'll take a photograph to show you a bit more clearly. But this was Gather Together quilt you may recall I made this quite a few vlogs ago, and I've got quite a bit of scraps, and I give one as a giveaway. I think Sarah won that, but this is the scraps from this particular pattern. So yeah. So before I share my haul with you, we let the dog out the other morning, Reginald, and out he went. He's a dachshund, and straight away he was on this scent, and he was really sort of crawling around the yard and sniffing, and we thought, oh, what's going on? So we found this. To rescue the hedgehog, and yeah, it's scuttled to the top of the garden now, and it's living in some bushes. So yeah. Oh dear. Right, let's have a look at some haul. The first one is this one. It's called Crafting Springtime Gifts, and this is a Tilda workbook. And in here it's got some fantastic patterns, it really has. So this is well worth it. I think I purchased this from Awesome Books. So it gives you all the instructions in here on how to stuff the figure. But this is the pattern I used. It's called Bunnies. Aren't they lovely? Now these particular ones have got these floppy ears. I'd like to make one of these next with a little hat. I love them, I really do. There's another picture. I'd like to make the little duck as well, isn't it cute? And this is the one I made, and as you can see, I've copied a little bit with the blue striped fabric. I think their nose is a little bit more pinker. I think I might re-embroider that, but and put some blusher on the cheeks to finish her off. But yeah, just love this. I really do. These are called hares actually. I called it a bunny, it was a hare. I'd like to make these flower pot hares next. So basically it's just the head and a bit of the body you make. I'm going to nip into Hobbycraft and get some of these flower pots, because I know they sell them, because I use the same ones for these springtime bugs. Again, another Tilda pattern. I just need to get some raffia, something like that, to put around the top of the pot. That's that. Oh, it's a fabulous book. I want to make every project in it. Also purchased this one. Oh, I might do Christmas in July, because look at this, Christmas gifts. Aren't they beautiful? These snowmen. So there's lots in here. I'll just show you a couple of there's 25 projects. So let's have a look. Oh, look at these reindeer. I mean, you can't go wrong, can you? Look at those. Absolutely gorgeous. Rocking reindeer. And then, oh, look at all these Santas. Oh, the grandchildren would love them, wouldn't they? Love those. And I'll just show you one more before I go. Oh, we've got the angels as well. Do like that. It's got a little Christmas angel with an apron. And she styles them so lovely as well. And these are called Goodnight Angels. So yeah, might do a review on this book. And all the patterns are in the back. There's no having to photocopy, I don't think. Yeah, it's all done for you. So I do like that when you can just get on and do the pattern. Right, my next book I purchased was this one. It's called 55 Crochet Gifts for the Home by Angela King, and I quite liked this, but this wasn't in the book. But there is some trims you can make, which I thought looked lovely there. I think that's the Tower Bridge, isn't it? Aren't they gorgeous? Yeah. I think this is going to be more what you call filigree crochet, where it's finer. But I've got plenty of crochet hooks because my nonna always used to crochet with very fine hooks and pearl cotton. So yeah, for doilies and things. So can't wait to make something from that. Went to our local garden centre the other day, and they have a charity section for the Douglas Macmillan, and I bought these patterns. Now, we used to have these figures, I remember in the 70s. They were quite well known, and they're called Hummel, and I think they're German. I might be wrong, but anyway, I thought these were rather cute. There were loads of these. I just bought a couple of them because I'm never going to get them stitched in my lifetime. That sounds a bit morbid, but yeah, I've got so many cross stitch patterns, but I do love looking at them. So those are that. I bought also this pattern. It's for double knitting, I think, and I just thought that would look really cute for my granddaughter, my middle one, for Rosie, so I thought that would be nice. Now, I've wanted this pattern for a long time, and I've been looking on eBay, and I noted that there were kits, and many a time I've gone to buy the kit and then thought, you know what, you've got enough. And then for the last few months, this hasn't been advertised. And I thought, oh gosh, there's no kits left now. And I've looked everywhere and I can't find a kit. But there we go, this pattern, I think it was 50p. So it's by Jan Lynn. And the reason I was so desperate to buy this is I've got 3 daughters and they've all got different coloured hair. So Cheryl, my eldest, has got dark hair. Carly has got the blonde, and then we got Lucy with the red. And they're all close, the sisters are. They all love one another so deeply. They really do. And I just thought this would be a lovely pattern to cross stitch an ode to them. So yeah. And it's called, I think it's called Forever. Oh, it's called Best Friends, which they are. So yeah, it's really sweet. So there we go. I've got one more book to share with you, and there's a little bit of a story behind this. So I ordered through eBay a book, I think it was something to do with makeup, from a well-known bookstore on there. And I received an email to say that unfortunately the book hadn't passed their quality control, and would have liked to choose another book. Now this book, bear in mind, I think it was about £13 or £14. So I had a look through and I saw these, and these are by Caroline Zoob, which I follow on Instagram. Now these look different, don't they? Okay, so the book club, the bookseller sent me this, but not this one. So I emailed and said, you know, this book was only worth £8. I'm so many pounds out in deficit here. Anyhow, the eBay sorted it out, and they refunded me the money and told me I could keep the book. So, and the book company said they could only refund with one book and not two. So I went to another bookseller on eBay and I ordered this one because I was so pleased with this. I thought, I've got to get this. So I did, not knowing that they're just different covers. They're exactly the same projects inside. I would like to give this as a giveaway. The problem for giveaways for me is that you usually get people who don't usually comment or support the channel, commenting and then winning a prize, and I don't think it's fair. So I've looked back at my last few vlogs and I've noted that Linda, and her YouTube channel is called Joy of Things, has been most constant with her commenting. So I think it's only fair, Linda, that you receive this book if you want it. So if you do, Linda, then please send me a message via Instagram or by my email. I'll pop it in the description box below, and you can send me your address and I'll send you the book. If you don't know Linda, her YouTube channel is called Joy of Things. I'll pop a link in the description box below. So her channel is about everyday life, so she'll show you around her home, which is to die for. It's gorgeous and it's full of old antiques and things, lovely finds, and she'll talk about her pottery, which is a love of mine, and yeah, she does some handicrafts as well. She knits, crochets, tapestry, cross stitch. She also likes to go into charity shops and she'll do hauls. She's got a lovely garden which she shows you around, and an allotment. So yeah, and she just has a general chit chat with you, and it's like wandering back down memory lane. It's lovely, so go give her a watch. Like I say, I'll pop a link into her YouTube channel. So thank you for Linda for constantly commenting, which helps me with the YouTube algorithm. So that's, you know, one thing I'd like to do is just reward someone who has commented so often. If you'd like to leave me a comment below, it's worth doing, because in the future I'll be doing more giveaways, and that's one thing I take into account. So if you've enjoyed this vlog, please give me a like and the thumbs up there, and leave me a comment. That would be great. If you haven't already, could I ask you to please subscribe, and yeah, the little bell below, if you just click on that, and that will, and click on all, that will remind you every time I upload a vlog. So until I see you next time, thank you for watching. Happy crafting. Bye.